Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. We're 24 hours away from kickoff, 24 hours away from Villarreal versus Manchester United in the Europa League final, and I am just so excited for this game. I can't wait for this game. There's a lot to talk about in today's video. We'll be talking about what lineup should Ole Gunnar Solskjaer go with. What lineup do I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go with? I'll talk about my predicted lineup. Will Maguire feature? Is it De Gea or Henderson? Is Rashford playing? Is Greenwood playing? Is McTominay getting dropped? We'll talk about what I think Ole will do, what I would do. We'll talk about the game, how we can win it, what are our strengths and weaknesses going into the game. But we'll also be talking about some of the latest transfer news regarding Manchester United and all of that. And I will address some of the live chats as well. So get your comments in the live chat, get your comments down below, hit that like button, subscribe down below. There's a lot of news. Tom Heaton has agreed a deal at Manchester United. That's coming in. He's going to rejoin Manchester United. I thought I'd chuck this in this video because no one really cares. It's kind of irrelevant, but he is a Man United player. We'll also be talking about some news on Sancho, more transfer updates on Sancho. James Cooper, very, very reliable journalist that gets sources of information from Manchester United, talks about Man United looking at CDM and Declan Rice, which I think is exciting news because, I think I always feared that we weren't going for a CDM, but a reliable source has linked us to a CDM, as well as a lot of other news talking about Pau Torres situation, Pau Torres out by a swap deal. What centre-back are Man United going to sign? Because it's very, very clear that Man United are going to sign a centre-back, but will it be Pau Torres? Will it be Jules Kounde? Will it be Rafael Varane? We'll be talking about the latest on all those players. Telles maybe leaving. Lingard situation, my reaction to the England squad. Let me know your thoughts on the England squad as well, actually, in the comments. But what should we talk about first? The transfer news or the Villareal game? I'm not sure. What's the tone? What do we talk about first? I think we'll talk about the Villareal game first, and then I think we'll cover transfer news and live chat towards the end of the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you the lineup I would play versus Villareal. Now, this is the lineup I would play, as you can see on my screen. De Gea, obviously, in goal. Wan-Bissaka short. Harry Maguire, if fit, but he probably won't be by the looks of it. So I've gone with Axel and Lindelof because I think Axel looks the best on the left-hand side of all our centre-backs, and he's got that pace that works well with Lindelof. I've got Pogba, I've got Fred, I've got Greenwood, I've got Bruno, I've got Rashford, I've got Cavani. I ain't having McFred. Spanish opposition is about keeping the ball, moving the ball, fighting under pressure. I don't think they're going to suit the game. I'm not sure what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to do because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually came out and said, when talking about the game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out and said, with this game, with the sort of situation of the game, he said that all those spots are decided, but he still hasn't made his mind up about 3 spots. So when we're talking about starting 11, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he still hasn't made his mind up about those 3 spots. And I tell you what those 3 spots are. Those 3 spots are McTominay, Greenwood and Rashford. And I know those 3 spots are McTominay, Greenwood and Rashford because McTominay, Greenwood and Rashford all featured on the bench versus Wolves, because it's either you play Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani up top. It's either Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani up top, or it's Fred and McTominay, Pogba, Cavani, and either Greenwood or Rashford. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's made up his mind, but there's 3 spots up for grabs. And I tell you what, those 3 spots is who's on the right wing, who's in the pivot. If Pogba's in the pivot, both Greenwood and Rashford will play, and McTominay will be dropped. But if Pogba's on the left, it's between Greenwood and Rashford to play on the right. And that's kind of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, those 3 spots up for grabs. So to be fair, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because no Maguire, he's going to play it safe, and I think there will be McTominay and Fred in the pivot. But personally, myself, I'd probably play Pogba in the pivot because it's expansive football. The football we played against Wolves was good football. The football we played against Wolves was good football, and that's personally what I would do. Now, we will get into the transfer news, the Sancho news, the Rice news, the Pau Torres news, so make sure you stay tuned for that by hitting that like button and subscribing down below and all of that. But I want to read a few chats because I asked everyone to put their ideal starting 11 in down below. So someone says De Gea, Wan, Tuanzebe, Bailly, Jorginho, Matic, Beak, Bruno, Pogba, Cavani, Greenwood. I mean, that would be brilliant to see. I mean, that would be an ideal starting 11, but that probably won't happen. Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Tuanzebe, Shaw, Matic, Pogba, Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford, Cavani. I mean, that would be a brilliant ideal 11. I think most people don't want to see McFred tomorrow. I think most people do not want to see McFred tomorrow, but unfortunately, I do think we will see McTominay and Fred tomorrow. Personally, I don't want to see it, but I do think McTominay, we'll definitely see one of them. I do think it's going to be McFred with Pogba on the left, and it's going to be between Greenwood or Rashford for that last spot on the right. And to be fair, for going off current form, I'd give that spot on the right to Mason Greenwood. But personally, I'd play both Greenwood and Rashford and I'd put Pogba in the pivot. Nick Morris says De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Tuanzebe, Shaw, Matic. Yeah, pretty much everyone's kind of going with this kind of starting 11. Let me know who you want to see, though. Do you want McFred in the pivot for safety, or do you want to see sort of the football we played against Wolves, like the more attacking football? No one's talking about Villarreal. We think we will get beat. Well, I will actually talk about Villarreal, guys. Don't you worry. I will actually go and talk about Villarreal in a second. But Villarreal are good at set pieces. Villarreal are very, very good at set pieces, actually. And I'm gonna have a look at what the predicted Villarreal squad is. But I know Villarreal are good at set pieces, and without Maguire, we've been even worse at set pieces. Like, Man United aren't good at set pieces, and I do worry. Sevilla in the semi-final. You know when we played Sevilla in the semi-final, and I thought we were very dominant of Sevilla in the semi-final. I thought we were better than Sevilla in the semi-final. We had our moments to kill the game off. We didn't take our chances, and Sevilla had 2 chances and took it. I think if we lose to Villarreal, it'll be one of those. I think we're very much good enough to beat Villarreal, but I could see us scoring 1 goal, fluffing a load of chances, kind of like we did against Fulham. When we drew 1-0 to Fulham a week ago, we had many, many, many chances to go make that 2-0. Greenwood should have made it 2-0, I think, and then we made it 1-0. And I do worry versus Villarreal, they will get a set piece, boom, 1-0. 1-0 when we dominate, and it puts that pressure on us. And the thing about Man United is I find the minute we go from 1-0 to 1-0, we get worse. I don't know why. Like, we're the king of comebacks, but when we're ahead and we give away a lead, we get worse. Once we go behind, fine, but it's like when we are ahead and we go back to drawing, I think that's when we are at our worst. And so, but if we look at the Villarreal lineup, it's probably going to be Gerard Moreno and Carlos Bacca up front for Villarreal, who have scored most of Villarreal's goals this season. Gerard Moreno, Pau Torres will be at the back, and I think Pau Torres is a big one we want to see, because obviously later in this video we'll be talking about Pau Torres from Manchester United. There's a big update on Pau Torres to United, and maybe Bailly going the other way and we getting Pau Torres. Also like Kounde and Brown. So stay tuned for the latest news on Pau Torres and my thoughts on that. They have Raul Albiol, who's a set-piece king, very, very experienced, I believe. They've got Juan Foyth, the Spurs guy. They beat Arsenal, and they're very, very organised defensively, Villarreal. They completely shut Arsenal off for a whole game, forced them into a 0-0. Yes, we are better than Arsenal, but when we play McFred and teams sit deep against us, we can't break them down. And I think if Villarreal sit very, very deep against us and we play McFred, we're going to very, very much struggle to break them down, and I think that plays into their hands. But Villarreal do have a very, very strong team, and the comment earlier definitely was a good one. There is a possibility we do get beat, and as I want to say, guys, if Man United lose to Villarreal, is that the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? If Ole loses to Villarreal, would you sack Ole? I want you guys to let me know in the live chat. What would you do to Solskjaer if we lost to Villarreal? Because it is a possibility that we could lose to Villarreal, and I think we do have to keep that in mind. I think we will win. We are the favourites to win, but you just never know with football, You never know. I think Porto knocked Juventus out of the Champions League. And the thing about this is a 1-legged tie. I think if it's a 2-legged tie, I'm backing United, because if we bottle the first leg, we'll be fine in the second leg. But it's a 1-legged tie. And tournaments are sometimes about luck in a 1-legged tie. There's sometimes a little bit of luck when it comes to a 1-legged tie. Villarreal, Man United, and Sevilla had that luck last year in the semi-final. Could Villarreal have that luck? And I do think zonal marking and set piece is going to cost us. I say this now. Clip this, do what you want with it. I say this now. If Man United lose, it will be because of us conceding a goal on the corner. I'm predicting tomorrow that if we do lose, we'll concede a stupid goal at a corner or at a set piece or at that near post. I generally do. And the thing with tournaments is it's a little bit about luck when it comes to tournaments. And there is a chance that Villarreal could get a jammy goal. They could nick it. There's a good chance that we could have loads of chances to deserve to win and we lose. But the question is to put in the live chat, do you sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if we lose? What are your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that? And of course, comment your ideal team in the starting 11. I was saying that I think Fred and Pogba should play in the pivot because it's Spanish opposition and we need people that can control the ball and we need to play attractive football. I think Greenwood on the right, Rashford on the left, Cavani up top, killer's instinct. I'd love if Matic was able to start. I would love to start Matic, but realistically, Matic isn't going to start in this game. I think Fred very much suits Spanish football. McTominay doesn't. Wan-Bissaka, sure, very much obvious choices as well, but it's going to be weird. Like, my big thing is I think he could play McTominay because he's scared without Maguire of the aerial presence in the box as well. The thing about Ole is I think he's scared to lose. He doesn't want to lose, and I do worry it'll be that play not to lose football with McTominay in a very, very, very defensive Manchester United. But of course, let me know your thoughts on that. by, of course, smashing that like button and letting me know in the live chat. Alice, is that your tactics board behind you? It's actually my schedule. So Monday I just rubbed it off, Tuesday's preview, Wednesday's watch along. But I could maybe use that board behind me as a tactics board. I could use that. Oh, I'm trying to point to it. I could use that maybe as a tactics board. Move the mic up there. No McFred. I mean, I think if we lose, we don't sack Ollie. But I think if we lose, there's a lot of pressure of Ollie going into next season. I think personally, unless we get thrashed and Barrish completely out tactics and Ollie's stubborn with no subs, I don't think you can sack Ollie because, I mean, he has got us to the final. You could say De Gea making them saves has got us to the final. But I think, it's the manner in which we lose. I think I wouldn't sack Ollie if we lost, especially if it's one of those games where we dominate and we just are unlucky to lose, when we drew 3-0 with Everton, when we lost to Sevilla in the semi-final last year. So I wouldn't be sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if we lost. But I think if you do lose this game, because we are the clear favourites and we should win this game, Ollie will be under a lot of pressure, especially going into next season. And I think I want us to win because, I mean, obviously I want us to win, but I really want a trophy. I really, really want a trophy at Manchester United. I really want to see Man United win a trophy. And I think, tomorrow is a massive game. I'm very, very excited for tomorrow's game. Massive game, fantastic game. And there's definitely a lot of pressure on United. We are the favourites. Maybe that takes a bit of pressure off Villarreal. Unai Emery is the master of the Europa League. Ollie's not won a trophy for Manchester United. So it's going to be a tough game. And, of course, everybody, let me know your score predictions in the live chat because I want to talk about some of the transfer news. I want to read out some of your live chat. So I'm going to address some of the live chat questions. I'm going to read out some transfer news in a second. But everybody, let me know your score predictions down below because I'm going to go 2-1 United win. I don't think it's going to be a 4-0. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for Manchester United. But I think Man United will win. And I'm going to go 2-1 win. Greenwood to score and Bruno to get a penalty. I mean, if I predict that right, boom. 2-1 United, Greenwood to score, Bruno penalty. I don't think it's going to be like Real Sociedad where we go 4-0 and we dominate. We beat Granada 2-0. That was quite easy. But Villareal, obviously, in the final, they beat Arsenal, which, aren't a great team. But, yeah. Well, let me know your score predictions because I think we will win, but there's always a chance that Villareal could get something. This guy says, I'm worried that if we buy Pau Torres, Ollie may not trust him or not use him in the first team, playing the likes of Lindelof and Harry together. Exactly, that's the thing about Pau Torres. I think if you buy Jules Kounde, if you buy Rafael Varane, they go straight into the starting 11 for sure. But does Pau Torres walk into that Man United starting 11? No, I think he's better than Lindelof, but does he walk in like Varane does, like Jules Kounde or does? And with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he won't start a player unless they walk into the starting 11. Donny van de Beek should be starting more, but he doesn't. Axel Tuanzebe should be starting more, but he doesn't. And I will talk about the Pau Torres news and sort of the latest on Pau Torres. Don't you worry. But I do agree with that. We should remember Ollie didn't get a bat last summer. We're second in the final. Exactly. You make a very good point. I'm not Ollie out. Look, if we lose the final, I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. If we lose the final and it's Ollie making the wrong subs or not making subs, and I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, you take it out on Ollie. But I can't be Ollie out. You've got top 4 for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson 2 years in a row. Like, if we lose, I personally can't be top 4. Hello to everybody joining. I'm seeing all your comments in the live chat. Good to see everyone tuning into the live chat. Please hit that like button. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new. Subscribe. But we're talking about the match preview to Man United versus Villarreal, and I'll also be addressing a lot of the transfer news as well. But give me your thoughts in the live chat. Some people saying 3-0, some people saying 3-1. Anto says, I want Manchester United to win the UEFA Champions League, but however, now it's the Europa League, but soon Manchester United has to win the Champions League. I agree. Look, it's not the Champions League, it is the Europa League. I very much agree with that. Look, I wish we were in the Champions League, but unfortunately we are in the Europa League. However, saying that, I think, we have to win this. You have to win it. The Europa League was the third best trophy in football. It goes Champions League, Premier League, Europa League. I'd rather win the Europa League than the FA Cup. I'd rather win the Europa League than the Carabao Cup. No one really cares about the Carabao Cup. I think that is the last choice trophy. It's up there with the plates. But it's not the Champions League, but it's the Europa League. We're in it. We're in the final. It's a good trophy to win. And I tell you what, I'm really, really excited for tomorrow's watch along. And if we win, there will probably be an hour live stream after the match talking about the win, talking about the game and all that. If Man United don't win, I'm probably crying on stream ranting tomorrow. So, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because tomorrow's the watch along and then the reaction. It could be highs if we win, but I tell you what, it will be some lows if we lose. But yeah. Boys defend those set piece and corners. Yeah, I think set piece and corners, as I was saying earlier, something to worry about. People saying 3-0 United, people saying 3-1 United, a lot of people saying 3-1 United. I've gone 2-1 United because I feel like knowing Man United will make it hard for ourselves. Whenever Man United are expected to win a game, we make it hard for ourselves. You know, we bottled Sheffield United, we bottled West Brom, we bottled Crystal Palace. Whenever Man United are expected to win a game or do well, we make it hard for ourselves. Whenever Man United are expected to lose, Man City, we go beat them 2-0, should have beaten 3-0. So the reason I'm going 2-1 is because I just know it classic Man United to make it hard for ourselves. This goes to Sancho or nothing. We will win 1-0. I will be talking about Sancho in just a second. Some more updates on Jadon Sancho for you guys to tune into. But yeah, United going to win 3-0, says James Daniels. If we win the game 3-4-0, I'm sitting there comfortable. But I just feel like it's going to be one of them. Well, we're 2-1 up in the 85th minute. And the last 5 minutes, which I'm sitting there intense. You know, I'm on my watch along. Very, very intense. Tomorrow's going to be a very, very intense watch along. I won't lie. I've been very relaxed on my last few watch alongs. But tomorrow, I'm going to be like, I won't lie. Oli has taken us to second position behind City. So does he deserve a new contract? I think he deserves a year or two experience. A year or two expansion. Yeah, I agree. I even if we lose, I don't think you can sack Oli. He's took us to the final. He's got a second place. And I don't think he was back. I think you back Oli this summer and you make the decision about what you're going to do about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer next summer. But I don't think there's a rush to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a new contract because I don't think anyone's in for him. And I don't think Oli would leave Man United to go somewhere else. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will stay at Man United as long as he's in contract. He supports Man United as a Man United legend. In a weird way, with Oli's CV, Man United's the best job he's ever going to get. You know, Man United is the best job Solskjaer's ever going to get. So I think with Solskjaer, you can wait a couple months to give him an extension, or maybe wait to next season to give him an extension. But yeah, I get what you mean. I think he doesn't deserve to be sacked, even if we lose the final. Very, very much. I hope so. The Spanish sides, they're good at finals. You make a good point. However, Man United have played 3 Spanish sides this season, and I'm pretty sure we beat them all. Oh, we played 2. Now, we beat Real Sociedad very, very comfortably. We knocked them out, and we knocked Granada. So we played 2 Spanish teams, and we beat them both 4-0 in aggregate. Didn't concede a goal to any of the Spanish teams, and we're pretty much dominant. I actually thought Granada gave us a game. I do think Granada gave us a game, but they just weren't good enough. And I'm actually going to look at La Liga, because I think Villareal did finish below Real Sociedad, and we obviously beat Real Sociedad 4-0. Real Sociedad finished 5th. Villarreal finished 7th. So Villarreal were 4 points behind Real Sociedad, and they did give us a game. You know, if I'm looking at the La Liga table, I'm looking at goals for Villarreal scored 44 goals this season. Villarreal scored 60 goals this season, which is a fair amount of goals. Real Sociedad scored 59 and Granada scored 47. But Villarreal have also conceded 44 goals this season, which is one of the worst in La Liga, especially in the top half of the table. So they may be a bit like us in that sense. Well, I think if we do challenge that back line, we can cause Villarreal some problems. Diego's prediction is 2-1 Manchester United. Yeah, the same as my prediction. We will be talking about Kounde in a minute. Kounde, Pau Torres, Varane, Botman, and Romero are Man United's 5 centre-backs on the transfer shortlists. So we will be talking about that. James Daniel said it's hard to see Harry not lifting Europa League if we do win. Yes, I believe Harry Maguire won't play. Now, with Ole, if it was any other manager, I'd sit here and say Maguire won't play. But because it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never likes to drop Maguire, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer likes to play Maguire every minute of every game, I can't say that Maguire's not going to play. Because you know what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's like. If Maguire shows the tiniest hint of fitness, he will play. You know what Solskjaer's like. But they were doing the training today. Maguire was sat on the bench, and I don't think Harry Maguire's going to start tomorrow. The fact that he couldn't train, I don't think he is. And Harry Maguire is still a little bit of a threat for the Euros as well. Hopefully he'll be fit for the Euros. I think the fact that he's been taken to Gdansk means that maybe he's a week or 2 weeks away from fitness. I think maybe if the final was 2 weeks away, he'd be fit. I think the fact that he's not walking with crutches, I think Maguire's probably a week or 2 weeks away from full fitness. But I don't think he will play tomorrow for the pure sense of we were seeing Man United warm up and training. Maguire wasn't warming up with them. If he's not in training the night before, you cannot start him in our biggest game of the season. I love Harry Maguire. I think he's our best centre back. But if Harry Maguire could not train today, he could not play in our biggest game of the season 24 hours later. Literally, guys, in less than 24 hours' time, we're watching the game. This time tomorrow, I'm live again watching the game. Like, the game is so close. I'm so excited for it. So Maguire, for me, can't play, but you never know with Ollie. And I just don't think he will play, because if he's not trained to it, I don't think Maguire will play. And I don't know what your thoughts are on Maguire playing, but I just don't think he'll play. Do you think Ollie will make subs because he doesn't trust his bench? I think if we're losing, Ollie will make subs. But I tell you what, if we're drawing 1-0 and the game's there for the taking, I don't think Ollie will make subs. You know, there's a lot of times when Man United are drawing, I think, oh, we can win this game, the game's there for the taking, but Ollie doesn't change it. I think if the game's there for the taking, he won't make subs because he doesn't want to risk winning to lose. He doesn't want to lose this game. 3-2 United is a lot of people. A cup is a cup. A cup is a cup. I agree. Please keep hitting that like button. I want to hit 100 likes by the end of the stream. So if you've not hit that like button, it's much appreciated if you do. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new, for daily Manchester United content, live streams, and more. Nick Morris says Maguire will lift the trophy if we win. That's one reason he's travelled. Exactly. I think Maguire's travelled as well, maybe for his off-the-pitch influence as well. A final is a final. They all count. I've played in big finals and small finals, but you feel the same if you win or lose. Exactly. A final is a final. It doesn't matter what the trophy is. I agree. I'm nervous because Emre is a genius when it comes to the Europa League. That's the thing. Unai Emery has a very, very good record in the final, and especially in Europa League. It's very, very good Europa League Unai Emery has. However, he did bottle the Europa League with Arsenal, but you did put your money on Chelsea to beat Arsenal in Europa League final, like you put your money on Man United to beat Villarreal. But yeah, Unai Emery is the more experienced manager. He's probably a better manager than Ollie, I have to say. And that hurts because I'm a United fan, I back Ollie, but I feel like Unai Emery is probably a better manager than Ollie. But I don't think he would do a better job at Man United if he came in, though. My prediction is 3-1 Villareal, says Cold Assassin. I am sorry, but Man United have no chance. Unai is the master of Europa League finals. And I don't know if he's a troll, I don't know if he's been serious, but there is, of course, the possibility that Manchester United might not win this game. There is that, and there is Unai Emery's, experience over Ollie. There is the fact that United, when you expect us to win, we don't win. When you expect it to be a tough game, we make it look like an easy game. We lose to Sheffield United, we drop points to West Brom. We drop points to Fulham, and Fulham are already relegated. When you think Man United are going to win, it's going to be an easy game. It's not. When you think it's going to be a hard game, we make it look easy. But I think there's a chance we could bottle it. A lot of people do think we'll bottle it. But of course, let me know your thoughts down below. The FA Cup is important, but the Europa League is more important. If I had a choice of winning the FA Cup or the Europa League, I take Europa League, because Europa League gets you into the Champions League. Not that matters for us, but I'd 100% take the Europa League. My prediction is Villareal 2-1 United, says FC Reborn. Yeah, I could see something like that happening. But I'm going 2-1 to United. Anton says, I'm so happy that Wayne Rooney's son Kai Rooney is doing well in the under-11s for Manchester United. Wayne Rooney is my all-time favourite footballer. Yeah, it's great to see. I think Harvey Neville was in there, but I think he moved into Miami. I think Robbie Savage's son's in the youth, and Wayne Rooney's son's in the youth. So there's a lot of Manchester United youngsters out there that obviously sons were good players for the club, of sure. Legit, the Emirates Cup, he would have it 3 years ago if it wasn't for the clowns at Arsenal. Just proves Man United have no chance. I think Man United should beat Villarreal. We're a better team than Villarreal. Like Chelsea with Hazard, we're a better team with Arsenal. I mean, Chelsea have been a better team than Arsenal for the last 10 years, but Chelsea are a better team than Arsenal, so you'd expect Chelsea to win that final. Man United are a better team than Villarreal, so you'd expect Man United to win the final. Having said that, Unai Emery has the experience. Man United are always capable of bottling the game, but I don't think it's Man United have no chance. I think, it's going to be a tight game, but I think Man United have the quality there to win it. We beat Real Sociedad 4-0 away from home very, very, very comfortably. We beat Granada over 2 legs, 2-0 on both legs, very, very comfortably. Second leg, played a lot of our weaker players. So, when we've played Spanish opposition this year, we've not struggled. The Spanish league is a much weaker league than the Premier League as well. We have to remember that. Chelsea could have beat Real Madrid 5-0 if they could finish. If Harry Kane played for Chelsea, they'd probably have beaten Real Madrid 5-0. Chelsea dominated Atletico over the 2 legs. Atletico won La Liga. Chelsea dominated Atletico over 2 legs. Chelsea were much better than Real Madrid. We've already knocked out 2 Spanish teams. Chelsea have knocked out 2 Spanish teams. The English teams have pretty much knocked all the Spanish teams out of Europe this season, apart from obviously the ones still standing, Villarreal, because Arsenal are an average middle team. So the difference between the Premier League and La Liga this season is the Premier League is levels ahead. And if you're coming second in the Premier League and 7th in La Liga, you'd surely back the second place in the Premier League team to win. Diego says 71 likes needed for 100 likes. So if you've not hit that like button, please smash that like button. Of course, we're going for 100 likes. And if you're new, subscribe, because tomorrow We're live for the watch along and match reaction to the game. I'm moving my hands around a lot. I won't lie. I just noticed that. But I think I'm just very, very pumped for the game. So I'm going to scroll down, read out a few more live chats, and then we're going to get into a little bit of transfer news. James Daniel says, if we get the players we need, then we have a chance to overcome City. If Man United go into the transfer window, they sign Jules Kounde, Declan Rice, and Jadon Sancho, I think we can challenge City. As long as City don't go out and buy Grealish and Kane, I think we can challenge City, because I do think City have overachieved this season. I do think they've overachieved a little bit this season. I do think Declan Rice, a top centre-back like Jules Kounde, and Sancho meant that Man United could challenge with City. I do think that Maguire won't be playing. That is the latest, that Maguire won't be playing, but you just never know with Oli. Oli should play Matic alongside Pogba. Matic play CDM better. I agree, but Matic play versus Wolves, so we know he's not going to play and he's not going to be fit enough to play. But I do think Matic, Pogba, Bruno is probably our best midfield three when Matic is, playing at Matic's best level. Then, yeah. Bailly, he runs with Bailly last season. Now, Bailly could be playing next to Lindelof, so could Tuanzebe. But now, if we're going on form, Tuanzebe gets to know Bailly. But if we're going on what Bailly does and how good Bailly can be and experience, you probably play Bailly over Tuanzebe. Now, I think Oli will play Bailly as a safe option for the experience. But I think the last 2 games, Axel Tuanzebe has been proven that he's been the best centre-back the last month at United. But I think Bailly will play. And I think the good thing about Bailly playing is Bailly's good at set pieces to an extent. He's very good on corners. And I think if Man United drop points to Villarreal, it will be from a corner because Lindelof's not very good physically. And I think Bailly is our best centre-back physically. I think Eric Bailly is definitely Manchester United's best centre-back physically after Maguire. So maybe that's why you start Bailly next to Lindelof, because Bailly's got pace and Bailly's got physicality. However, if we're going on form, you probably start Axel Tuanzebe and all of that. But yeah, what are your score predictions, guys? I'm predicting Man United to win 2-1, but Emery has won the Europa League before. If you're new, please subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football, because tomorrow we're going to be live for a watch-along Man United versus Villareal and my match reaction, which I'm super excited for the game. And please hit that like button. We're trying to hit 100 likes. But Anton says Liverpool FC will be dangerous next season. They already completed a Kounde signing, and they will be more dangerous to Manchester City next season. I agree. Liverpool have signed Kounde. Now, talking of centre-backs, so Man United have 5 centre-backs they want to sign in the summer. Man United's 5 centre-back shortlist is Varane, Kounde, Pau Torres, Botman, and I believe the 5th one is Romero at Atlanta. So Man United have 5 centre-backs on their shortlist. Kounde has gone to Liverpool. Liverpool got a centre-back sorted. Alaba's going to Madrid. Madrid have got a centre-back sorted. Upamecano is going to Bayern. Bayern have a centre-back sorted. But the 2 clubs that don't have a centre-back sorted and will be in the market for a centre-back next season are Chelsea and Man United. And Chelsea will get their first choice signing because that's just how Chelsea run. Chelsea run a lot better than Manchester United. But I think Chelsea will get one of Varane or Kounde, but I think Man United will get the one that Chelsea don't sign. And obviously, I'm going to get into the transfer news, actually, and what has come out, because obviously there was sort of news about an Eric Bailly, Pau Torres swap deal. But, so let me actually cover a few stories, and then I'll get back talking about the Villareal game, and then I'll read out some live chats. So just put your comments in the live chat. If you want me to answer any questions or theories you might have surrounding the Villareal game or transfer news, just let me know in the live chat with the comment below. And of course, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not, because we're live tomorrow night for the watch-along and match reaction to Man United versus Villareal. So if Man United lose, it's going to be a very crying, depressed match reaction. But if we win, I'm going to be gassed, and I just hope we win, because I've got such a good plan for the channel in the next week if we win. So we better win as well, actually, for the sake of my future videos I have planned in my head. But the first news is Jesse Lingard is expected to keep West Ham waiting until after the Euros to make a decision about his future. But it looks like Jesse Lingard does want to move away from Manchester United, and will probably get about 20 to 25 million pounds. Considering when West Ham priced Rice at 90 million, we should price Lingard at 40 million because of the 1 year left on Lingard's contract, because he wants to leave, because he's pushing for a move. I think we'll only get 25 million max for Jesse Lingard, but I do think he's worth more. But I think we'll get 25 million for him. Now, D Jones is a pretty reliable journalist. He's done some work with BR and all of that. He's basically said sort of what we already know, but he's a reliable journalist. You put him in the higher tiers. Dean Jones has said that Dortmund are looking at potential attacking options in the light of the fact that Jadon Sancho is allowed to leave this summer, with Man United in the driving seat to sign him. Now, there was a little bit of fear that Chelsea could come in and get Jadon Sancho, But Dean Jones has said that Man United are in the driving seat to get Sancho. They still are the favourites, despite Chelsea showing an interest and obviously Chelsea being better at getting transfers done. Dean Jones also said surrounding Sancho that Chelsea have asked to be kept aware of Sancho's situation, but the player is understood to remain set on joining Manchester United as they are his top choice. Obviously, we know Sancho's agreed to join Manchester United. Sancho agreed to join Manchester United a year ago. Everything is set in place for Sancho to join Man United. It's just, will Man United pay the £75 million Dortmund once again? And he's basically said that, but Dean Jones, who's a very reliable journalist, in my opinion, I trust him. He's worked with Bleachers Report, that always do good stuff. Dean Jones has said Sancho wants to go to Man United over Chelsea. Man United are the favourites. So I think we are in a very strong position to sign Sancho. However, we're talking about Rice, we're talking about Kounde, we're talking about Varane. I do think Chelsea are favourites there just because they're better at getting their business done. But I think Chelsea are more focused on a striker than a right winger as well. Now, we also talked about Pau Torres, and I'm talking about Villarreal. We'll be talking about Pau Torres at the back, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Pau Torres does tomorrow against Premier League players and all that. And I'm actually really interested to see how Pau Torres does. And I will actually read out a lot of you guys' live chat in a minute. So if you have any questions, of course, put them in the live chat, hit that like button, and of course, subscribe for the daily Manchester United live streams. But Dean Jones has said that basically, Manchester United recruitment staff have been so impressed with Pau Torres that he's still on the radar, and strong performances against the club might persuade the boss to make an offer. So if Pau Torres has a good game, United could well and truly make an offer for him. It looks like that we won't be looking for a centre-back too after the Euros. We want to monitor how Pau Torres does at the Euros, but he's definitely on our list. And Manchester Evening News said that Man United had a 5-man centre-back shortlist that, was Botman, Romero, Pau Torres, Kounde and Varane. And, Fabrizio Romano pretty much came out and said, Varane is Manchester United's sort of first choice. Kounde is our second choice, but we do admire Romero, we do admire Pau Torres, we do admire Botman. Like, that's basically, Fabrizio Romano's kind of said that, Pau Torres is probably our third choice centre back, and because Pau Torres is Man United's third choice centre back, we'll probably sign him, because you know what Man United are like. We never get our first choice. We never get a second choice. We always get our third choice. But he's on our radar. But I do think we're more focused on Varane and Kounde. But I think if we're going to pay £75 million for Sancho, will we pay £60 million for Kounde or Varane? Probably not. We go for Torres because it'll be £40 million. Now, talking of a bit of a swap deal, Villareal are interested in Eric Bailly and could look to bring him back to the club if Torres leaves. So maybe we could use Bailly in a swap deal for Pau Torres, and it'll be Bailly plus £10 million for Pau Torres. However, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think that'd be good business for Manchester United, because I think if Bailly could stay fit for a full season, he'd be better than Pau Torres. I think Pau Torres offers his left-footedness, and he's a little bit younger and a better injury record. But for me, Pau Torres doesn't jump straight into that lineup. I think he's good enough to start. I also think Axel Tuanzebe is good enough to start. I also think Donny van der Beek is good enough to start, but they don't jump straight into that lineup. And with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if you're a new player, you have to jump straight into that lineup, or you're going to struggle to get minutes. We know what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's like. We know he doesn't like to change his team up. Now, we have signed a player pretty much. Now, Tom Heaton has agreed to join Manchester United in the summer when his Villa contract expires. So basically, we have signed Tom Heaton. He's going to be a Man United player in a couple of weeks' time. But there's no point me making an individual video on that, because do you really care that we signed Tom Heaton? Does anyone really care? I have to say that. Now, Maguire is going for a jog up and down the sideline. That's what Solskjaer said in his press conference, basically hinting that he doesn't think Maguire will be playing, but maybe he'll be on the bench. Maybe he'll be there to lift the trophy if we win, and maybe he'll be there for experience. Obviously, Solskjaer had his press conference regarding the Manchester United versus Villareal game. And this is one of the things that Solskjaer said that I'm going to read out that he said in the press conference, and then I will go back and look at some of your live chats. So if you have any questions, of course, put them in the live chat, smash that like button and subscribe. But Solskjaer on team selection, he came out and said this: it's always difficult to leave players out, but throughout the whole season, a final is a reward for what you've done the whole season. Then if there's a doubt between a couple, then it's form in the latter stages. So form in the latter stages could hint Greenwood over Rashford, possibly. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basically come out and said that it's kind of all decided, but 2 or 3 spots are still to make up in his head. Those 2 or 3 spots will be McTominay, Greenwood or Rashford. If Pogba plays in the middle, McTominay will be dropped. If Pogba plays on the left, one of Rashford or Greenwood will be dropped. And I believe at the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is hinting, it would be Rashford that would be dropped. But we will discuss that in a second. But let me know by putting some of your thoughts in the live chat, because I'm going to scroll down and read out some of the live chats. So if you have any questions and all that, put that in the live chat, because I want to read out some live chats. Anton says, if Manchester United can't sign Varane or Kounde, then Manchester United should sign Botman, who won League 1 with Lille. I do agree that Botman would be maybe a better signing than Pau Torres, because he would be cheaper, and possibly he is better. Eric Bailly apparently got an injury in today's training, but it's quite minor. Of course, Eric Bailly got injured. Of course, Eric Bailly got injured. Steve says, I think Pau Torres could come. I very much think Pau Torres could come to Manchester United. And the main reason I think Man United will sign Torres is because it's Fabrizio Romano said Varane first choice, Kounde second choice. We're looking at a lot of other centre-backs. So Fabrizio Romano's kind of said that Pau Torres is our third choice centre-back. And Man United normally in the summer get their third choice signing in that position, the third choice option, the cheaper option. And that's why I do think that Pau Torres could come to Manchester United and all of that. Only 44 likes needed for 100 likes, guys. So if you've not hit that like button, please keep hitting that like button to get 100 likes. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football because tomorrow night we're live for the Man United versus Villareal watch along. Could you imagine the game going to penalties? You know what? We're good at penalties. We're good at penalties. So if it goes to penalties, advantage us. But if it goes to penalties, nah, we should be winning the game in 90 minutes. The game shouldn't go to extra time. I hope it doesn't go to extra time. But God, I hope the game doesn't go to penalties. I'd be surprised if the games went to... You know what? Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if the game went to penalties because in big games, Man United tend to draw a lot of our biggest games because we play that back six of McFred and Lindelof and Maguire. So, you know what? There's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised if it went to penalties because Ollie doesn't want to go for the win, but he'd rather risk not losing than winning. So we drag it out to penalties. So to be fair, I wouldn't be that surprised if the game went to penalties. There will be extra time than penalties. Where will Sancho play if he goes to Chelsea? Because Chelsea have many players on the right wing and left wing. United has given Sancho more wages than Chelsea, I see. Sancho says he wants United over Chelsea. That's the news coming in from Bleacher's Report, I think. And yeah, Chelsea want a striker. I was talking to some Chelsea fans today, actually, and they were saying Lukaku, Rice, Varane. Like, Chelsea want Lukaku, Rice, Varane. You know, Chelsea want a striker more than a right winger. We want a right winger more than a striker. And that's why I think we have the advantage to sign Sancho because we've got Cavani for another year. We're not focusing on a striker this summer. We're focusing on a right winger, like Fabrizio Romano said. Chelsea would really like Harry Kane, Haaland, or Lukaku this summer. So Chelsea want a striker. We want a right winger. Like Chelsea's priority in attack, striker. Man United's priority in attack, right winger. And that's, again, another reason why I think United are more likely to get Sancho. And Sancho's preference is Man United over Chelsea. Sancho's agreed to join Man United. He wants United over Chelsea. So Chelsea are our only competitions in terms of Sancho. But I think Sancho will go to Man United. I'm very, very confident Sancho will go to Manchester United. And I've obviously talked about my reasons why in loads of videos. But yeah. This guy says these are big nights for us. It might be a stepping stone for something better to come. It's a bright future. The team is young. It's a good team we've built over the last few years. That's the thing about winning. You know, we have to win a trophy to win more trophies. I think winning a trophy does so much for this team. And it's not the Champions League. It's not the Premier League. But it's the third best trophy. And as you guys were saying earlier, a trophy is a trophy. So if Man United win this trophy, it's good experience and good stepping stone for the team. And I have to say, we make progress under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer each year he's been here. You know, say what you want about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but over the last 2 years, Man United have made progress. A year ago, we were a squad that was 5 signings of the Premier League title. Now, we're a squad that's 3 signings of the Premier League title. 2 years ago, we just finished 6th and we were a mess. 2 years ago, Man United just finished 6th and they were a mess. 2 years later, we finished 2nd, consecutive finishes in the top 4, and we're in a Europa League final. So as a squad, we've made progress, and I think if you win the Europa League, that's the best trophy you can win outside the Premier League and the Champions League. And we've not been Premier League and Champions League quality. However, saying that, Man United are, of course, 3 good signings away from a Champions League. Guys, if you've just joined the stream, please smash that like button. Let's see if we can get 100 likes by the end of the stream. And subscribe down below because tomorrow will be my live watch-along for United versus Villareal. I'm so excited for Manchester United versus Villareal. I can't wait for tomorrow's watch-along and obviously my match reaction. Hopefully we don't lose because I probably will cry in my match reaction. And I'm going to scroll down and address a few more of the live chats. Tom Heaton has joined United. Deal has been agreed. He's going to join when his Villareal contract happens. There's obviously news that Sancho will choose United over Chelsea. So if Chelsea are in for Sancho, will choose United, which, you know, a big advantage for Sancho for United. And there's a big thing that if Pau Torres plays well against Manchester United, Pau Torres will come to Manchester United. That's sort of most of the news coming in. Starless says, I don't want Varane or Sancho, but I can take the Sancho signing, but the Varane, hell no. Some people don't want Varane because they saw how bad he was versus City last year and he's injury prone, but Varane or Lindelof is the question. Varane or Lindelof, and you say Varane, but there's definitely, I would take Jules Kounde over Varane, but that's just my personal preference. Again, 5 centre-backs on my shortlist: Botman, Kounde, Romero, Pau Torres, Varane. You know, everyone has their preference. I would probably take Jules Kounde if I had to take a centre-back. But there's 5 centre-backs we're in for. All of them are decent centre-backs. But Pau Torres is the one that the rumours about. But Fabrizio Romano obviously said Varane and Kounde look like our first choice, so we probably won't get them because you know what United are like. But we are definitely looking at Botman, Pau Torres, and more. De Gea is the most underrated player in United. He deserves to be captain and lift the trophy with United. You know what? I agree. I think De Gea was very underrated. I think he's having a very brilliant season. And for me, there's no question about it. De Gea should start the final. De Gea is one of the reasons we are in the final. I mean, did you see how good he was versus Roma? For me, David De Gea should start the final. Let me know in the live chat, who would you start and go, De Gea or Henderson? Because for me, I feel like you're all going to say De Gea. Is it really a debate? Is there anyone in this watching this right now that actually thinks Henderson should start? No, I'm a Henderson fan. I love Henderson. I'm not saying Henderson. He's a good player, but De Gea here, Henderson here. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Lee Grant, ages 33 or 34. He's leaving United. Tom Heaton's also 35. What kind of deal is this? Exactly. Look, Tom Heaton's just one of them. You know, Lee Grant's leaving. We just need a third keeper in. Hopefully, we get someone better as a second keeper. But yeah, no, I do agree. Like, we've signed Tom Heaton. He's agreed to join United, but it's just like one of them. Like, really, Tom Heaton, whatever. You know, when Man City signed Scott Carson, that's how I feel about us signing Tom Heaton. Tomorrow is my birthday. Yeah, you better win, United, because you don't want to miss this guy's birthday. We should get a CDM like Rice and Ndidi. I get this comment a lot. Man United should get a CDM. Yes, we should get a CDM. And the news is, now, I'm actually going to read out what James Cooper said. Now, James Cooper did an interview last night, actually. Let me try and find what exactly he said. But I know James Cooper did an interview sort of last night, and he basically said, bear in mind, James Cooper, very reliable journalist, because he gets his source from the club. He's sort of the journalist almost for the club in a way. He's always at the front of the sky, and you know, he gets information from the club. You know, it's not Fabrizio Romano reliable, but you know when it comes from James Cooper, it's probably come from Manchester United. It's a bit like the Athletic. We know they like to tell him things. Now, James Cooper has said that Man United are, in fact, in the market for a CDM. He actually said quite a lot of comments. Now, he talked about finance situation, and all of that. He talked about a lot, James Cooper, but James Cooper said it's the first transfer window for the club's new recruitment structure too, and they can expect to be busy in the weeks ahead. He said something like that because obviously, you know, you got Murta in, you got rid of Woodward kind of. So yeah. Now what James Cooper said, which I thought was really interesting, is he said the key to what Manchester United want to do against a backdrop where supporters are demanding big names despite the impact of COVID is to close the gap on Manchester City and prepare a tilt in the Champions League next season. So apparently Man United want to close the gap on City and, you know, the tilt next season. But he does say, you know, despite the impact of COVID, which, you know he's got his information from United because that's very United words, isn't it? He talked about raising finance from player sales, freeing up big chunks of wages from departures. Again, allows greater flexibility. And Scholz and his recruitment team remain admirers of Sancho. So the club, James Cooper's probably got that information from the club when he said Solskjaer remains admirer of Sancho. Fabrizio Romano said Solskjaer really wants Sancho. Sancho wants United. Dortmund wants 75 million. United are willing to pay that. Bada bing, bada boom. I think there's a lot of indications that Man United will sign Sancho this summer. And he was talking about the whole sort of finance situation at Manchester United. He made comments about Paul Pogba and all of that. And I'm actually going to read out a little bit more what James Cooper said. And again, I'm going to address some of you guys in live chat. Talking about centre-backs, James Cooper said the centre-back position has been an issue for several seasons now, with no outstanding contender to start alongside Maguire. I like to think that it will be addressed. He said he thinks the centre-back thing could be addressed. You know, Fabrizio Romano said it's right-wing centre-back. But again, the one thing that is worrying is there's not much talk of Man United getting a CDM. But obviously, as I'm going to get into, James Cooper did talk about Man United looking for a midfielder. But the sort of news was we won't sign a midfielder unless Pogba or Donny leave, which I think is stupid because Pogba and Donny are our two best midfielders. They're better than McTominay and Fred. So why would you be looking to get rid of one of Pogba and Donny when you could get rid of one of McTominay and Fred? Now, this is what James Cooper said, which is really, really important. Okay, so he said, okay, that will have a knock-on effect to the central midfield, and United could be well in the market for a player that lessens the need for a double pivot and frees up Paul Pogba in midfield. He said, and this is really, really good, and this is, for me, this is big news, because James Cooper, as I said, gets information from the club, and guys, hit that like button. But he said that Man United could be in the market for a CDM because they want a player that can hold on their own, so it will free up the ability for Paul Pogba to, you know, express himself more, which is brilliant because we, you know, no top clubs play with two holding players. All the top clubs have one good holding player. And the fact that he said this, and the fact that with James Cooper, it very much comes from the club, makes me have a little bit of confidence that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows that Fred and McTominay are probably not good enough. And the fact Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays Fred and McTominay is because he trusts them to play their heart out. I think the fact that this has come out makes me believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably knows that Fred and McTominay aren't good enough. He probably does want the CDM, but I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows with the Glazers, okay, I want Sancho, I want a centre back, and I want a CDM. And he probably knows he can't have them all. Well, I think realistically, if we had Abramovich in charge, if we had the Man City owners in charge, Man United would be looking at CDM centre back, right winger. Now I think we will sign a centre back and Sancho. I'm very confident Man United will sign a centre back and Sancho this summer. We're not sure who the centre back is, but it'll be one of 5 centre backs that Man United sign, and I'm pretty sure we'll sign Sancho this summer. The question is, will we sign a CDM? And as James Cooper was saying, probably depends on player sales, the price, and all of that. And I think with Man United, it's going to be right winger centre back this summer, and then depending on who leaves, how much money we raise, the situation, maybe we'll get a CDM, because I think actually Solskjaer would like a CDM to put less stress on the pivot, which for me is fantastic news, because I think all of us fans definitely knew that and definitely want a CDM. I mean, I don't know how many videos ago, and there's just a comment about CDM. Guys, if you've not subscribed to Alice Talks Football and you're watching my video right now and you're like, you know what, I like her content. Well, I do daily Manchester United content, and I will be live tomorrow night for my watch along and match reaction. I pretty much do lives 5 nights a week and daily content on Alice Talks Football. So if you're a Man United fan, you want daily content, I'm going to be updating you on all the transfer news throughout the transfer window. So if you want to be up to date on all the transfer news, subscribe to Alice Talks Football, because that will keep you up to date on all the transfer news. We're on the road to 13,000 subscribers, by the way. We were actually 50 subs away from 13k. We've got 80 people watching. So if everybody watching subscribes, we could well and truly hit 13,000 subscribers as well, which would be insane. Fabrizio mentioned Kounde in an interview with Mark, more likely than Pau Torres. Yeah, Fabrizio said that, it's Varane or Kounde, but we are looking at Pau Torres. Because, Fabrizio went on the United Stand in an interview with Goldbridge, and I think he was pretty much like, yeah, Varane we really admire, Kounde we really, really admire, and we're looking at Pau Torres. And I think Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would probably rather get Kounde and Varane over Pau Torres. But the situation with Pau Torres is his third choice is going to be cheaper. Glazing on it, Glazer's in charge, you probably get your third choice. But if I was going to sign one, I'd sign Pau Torres. But I'm pretty confident United are going to sign Sancho, and I'm pretty confident we're going to sign a centre-back. And I've fingers crossed and pray to God we sign a CDM. But I could not tell you who that centre-back will be. I could not predict who that centre-back will be. I think it will be one of the 5 centre-backs in Pau Torres, Kounde, Varane, Botman, or Romero. I think we will sign one of those 5 centre-backs along with Sancho this window. But I couldn't tell you which one, because it is Man United. And for all I know, Man United could go flop Sancho and get Tyrone Mings this window, and then go fuck about and buy, I don't know, a Cardi. You never know with United. You never know with United and transfers. We should get Sancho. If we don't get Sancho, it's a disgrace, because Sancho wants us. We only have to pay 75 million, bargain, we get him, and we'll probably get a centre-back. But you just never know with United. If we get Tyrone Mings, oh my God, I'm going to be fuming. But if I was going to predict United's transfer window, I think Sancho is very much likely. It's come out today. He chooses over Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano said he's our first choice, and I think we will get a centre-back. And the good news is that James Cooper has obviously talked about us trying to get a CDM to free up space for Pogba, which I think is really, really interesting. Get your comments in the live chat. I'm going to be reading out a lot of my live chat. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the live chat, and I'll try and read out as many as I can. And of course, hit that like button and subscribe down below for daily Manchester United content on Alice Talks Football, daily United content. You don't want to miss it, because we've got the watch along tomorrow, we've got the match reaction, daily transfer news. So subscribe so you don't miss any Man United transfer news over the transfer window. But I'm going to just read out a little bit more live chats to see what we have. Obviously, Tom Heaton has agreed to join Manchester United. Johnny C says, I know Sancho can play on the right, but his preferred position is playing on the left. Same position as Rashford and Martial, apparently. No, I think Sancho's preferred position is the right, because the thing about Jadon Sancho is he's a creative winger. I think Rashford, Sterling, even Salah, even Greenwood, when they play as a winger, they're very much a goal-scoring winger, while Sancho's more of an assisting winger. And to sort of assist, you're putting crosses on your right-hand foot. So I think Sancho's preferred position is right mid, but I'm actually just going to Google that. Sancho's played 15 games as a left winger, and he's played 14 games as a right winger this season. He's played 7 games as an attacking midfielder and 2 games as a centre-forward. So to be fair, Sancho has played 14 games as a right winger this season, and he's got 5 goals and 10 assists. So in 14 games on the right wing, Sancho has 10 goal contributions. In 15 games on the left wing, though, Sancho has 17 goal contributions. So maybe Sancho is better on the left, because he has 9 goals and 8 assists on the left, but on the right he also has 5 goals and 10 assists. I think with Sancho, he can play on the right. I think with Marcus Rashford, can he play on the right? Not really. With Martial, can he play on the right? Well, we've never really seen it. with Sancho, even if he prefers the left, we know he can play on the right, and we know he's very capable of providing service from the right. I think Rashford's a goal scorer, Greenwood's a goal scorer. They don't really provide that much service. If we look at Sancho's recent games, then he has been playing on the left wing sort of ever since February. You know, he's been playing on the left wing ever since February. He has been playing on the left wing more. So that is a very, very good point. But overall, Sancho can play on both, and I think that's the more important thing. But it is interesting to see that Sancho has been playing more on the left lately. But he will definitely be there to play on the right. My prediction is Man United to win 2-1. Let me know your score predictions for tomorrow's match in the live chat. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the live chat for tomorrow's match. I'm going 2-1 win United. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't think we're going to breeze through it, but I believe we will win. So I will go 2-1 United. Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw make way into Scott Daniel team of the season. Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw walk into the Premier League team of the season. Easy. Everybody smash that like button. Let's see if we can get 100 likes by the end of the stream. We should be on about 100 likes now. So keep hitting that like button. Of course, subscribe down below. Tomorrow we're live about 7:30, 7:45 for Man United versus Villarreal watch along. So I'm very excited tomorrow. This time tomorrow we're at half time. We're at half time in the Europa League final this time tomorrow. Like half time. Mad. You know, this time tomorrow we could be sitting here at half time being like, yeah, we're 3-0 up, we got this. Or we could be sitting here like United 1-0 down, but then we're going to win because it's United. You never really know, but like this time tomorrow will be the final. We'll be watching the final. It will be half time. So absolutely mad. Kounde, Rice, Sancho, that would be my ideal transfer window. I agree with whoever commented that. Got to be De Gea, no question. Yeah, I think everyone knows De Gea has to start. And obviously, for those that have just joined, I will quickly do that. For those that have just joined, this is the lineup I think we will get in the final. Well, this is my sort of lineup. This is my lineup. Because you never know with Eric Bailly, got an injury in warm-up. Maguire's a question because Ollie might play him. That's the lineup I'd like to see. I think McTominay will be dropped. It'll be one of McTominay, Greenwood or Rashford that is dropped, depending on if Paul Pogba plays on the left or plays on the pivot. It'll be one of those guys that's dropped, depending if Paul Pogba plays on the left or pivot. But that is my squad prediction for tomorrow. I think that's the squad we will see. However, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will he play it safe with McFred? Because Arsenal very much struggled to beat Villarreal down, and with McFred, we struggled to break teams down. And I don't think McFred would be the right option, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ollie went for McFred. It wouldn't surprise me if Ollie played Maguire with an injury, but I kind of hope Maguire doesn't play tomorrow because he's not training today. But realistically, Maguire shouldn't play tomorrow if he's not training today. Anto says, I still don't understand, even a year later, why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made Harry Maguire as club captain, but not De Gea, who is the longest serving player. Yeah, I get your point. I think captaincy is wasted in goal, though, because they're not really outfield. I mean, I think if I'm looking at a Man United captain, I give it to Bruno Fernandes for on-pitch mentality, and then De Gea second, to be fair. Maguire had only been at the club 6 months and he got captaincy, so I think Bruno and De Gea should be considered before Maguire for captain. And I sometimes I don't think Maguire's captain material. I think he definitely is the leader at the back, and he definitely organises the back, because I think without Maguire in the back four, as we've seen over the last few games, the organisation's not been as good, and I think he's the commander at set piece in the back. But I think the overall leader on the pitch would be Bruno Fernandes. I could tell you Liverpool ain't getting Sancho. Don't worry about us cheap states. Yes, between Man U and Chelsea for Sancho, and as reported earlier, Sancho would prefer United over Chelsea. Sancho's agreed to join United, so it's all down to United whether they get Sancho. Like, if we don't get Sancho, it's not because Sancho doesn't want us. It's not because, we can't get him. It's because we won't pay the money, and it's down to the Glazers being greedy. Like, if we don't get Sancho, you can only blame Manchester United. Anto also says, Rafael Varane is good. He needs a player like Sergio Ramos' partner. I think Rafael Varane's a good player, but I would take Kounde over him because Kounde's younger, and I think maybe playing with Ramos carries Varane. I feel like with John Stones, if you don't play him with Diaz, he's not as good, and you know what I mean. I think Ramos is the dominant of Ramos and Varane, but I think Kounde is obviously the dominant at the Sevilla back. This guy says we should sign Donnarumma from AC Milan and loan Henderson, and Dean Henderson is free. Blah 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 blah. Tom Heaton, why rather use wages for transfers? I mean, it's not FIFA, but if it was FIFA, fair enough. Only 25 likes needed for 100 likes, so keep smashing that like button. Starlord says, loyal owners are like ours. The only reason we get money is because the club generates money and they can't hide it from us. Exactly. Every money Man United spend is from the club generating it, which is the sad truth. It's the sad truth. If we were run like Chelsea, if we were run like City, I could go into this transfer window feeling, you know what, pretty confident we were going to have a good transfer window if we run like Chelsea, if we run like City. But unfortunately, the story is Man United aren't run like Manchester City. Manchester United aren't run like Chelsea. So going into the transfer window, I don't have any faith that Man United are going to do any good. Like, I believe we'll get Sancho and a centre-back, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get CDM. The only hope that we get CDM is because James Cooper said we're interested in it to free up Pogba. Look, my ideal window is Pogba signs a contract, we sign a right wing, CDM centre-back. We get rid of the deadwood like Dalot, Lingard, Pereira, Jones, Dan James, Mata, probably even Matic. Maybe you can, you know, that would be my ideal transfer window. But with United, if we sign Tyrone Mings, who's not on our top 5 centre-back list, still wouldn't be surprised. But you just don't know with United and transfers. I think that is the scary thing. You just don't know what United are going to do in terms of the transfer market. It's very, very hard to predict. And if a fair window is anyone's surprise. But I do think with the pressure on the Glazers, with the apologies, with the fact that the 2 last windows have been a bit of a failure, I do think we're going to have a good transfer window, especially because the new team of Murta and co will want to impress. Is it a new team though? Who will know? Are they just saying it's new? And all of that. I just saw a live chat that I wanted to read out, but I've lost it. There it is. What is my team for the final? My team for the final is David De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Lindelof and Tuanzebe. I've gone with Fred, Pogba, Bruno, Rashford on the left, Greenwood on the right, Cavani up top. That would be my team for the final. Let me know your team for the final in the live chat. Actually, I'm really interested to see who would you line up for the final by letting me know in the live chat. How much do we have to spend? We finished second and got £65 million price money. Look, Sancho's 75 million. Kounde's 50 million. That's 125 million. Knock off 25 because Lingard goes for 25 million. Knock off another 20 million in player sales. Maybe Dan James. United normally have a net spend of 70 million pounds. However, because the Glazers are under pressure, because there's a lot of pressure on the Glazers, because they need to win back the fans, I think we'll have a net spend of about 100 million pounds. And I think that's Sancho and a centre-back, but unless we make more than 50 million in player sales, I don't think we'll sign a CDM. I'm sure Ollie wants it, but I don't. Grealish or Sancho? Sancho, because Grealish can play on the left, but we've already got Pogba and Bruno on the left. We haven't seen Grealish on the right. Thoughts on Martial? I'm a massive, massive fan of Martial. I love Martial. I don't get the Martial slander. He was our best player, arguably, last season. But Martial hasn't been good enough this season. He's been disappointing. If selling Martial meant we got a CDM centre-back and right winger, yes, I would sell Martial, but I'm a big fan of Martial. So personally, I have no issue with Martial at the club. I'm not one of those people that wants to sell Martial. But if selling Martial raised us the funds to say, look, if we sell Martial and it means we can get Kounde, Rice and Sancho, I'd sell Martial. But I think we're going to sign a right wing and a centre-back, even if we don't sign Martial. I'd only sign Martial if it actually meant we were going to get sort of a CDM. But the thing is, I'm a big fan of Martial. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on Martial, because the fan base is very, very divided on Martial. I think Martial's the player that divides the fan base the most. When he's in form, he's brilliant. When he's not in form, he's crap. And that's the thing with Martial. He's not in form this season, he's been crap. But I think he's a good player. People would disagree with me on that. But I do like Anthony Martial. He was one of our best players last season. He's had an off season, but I believe there's the quality player in Martial. And personally, I wouldn't sell him unless selling him actually meant the Glazers were going to invest the money we sell Martial in for the squad. Because if we sell Martial, it could just go to the Glazers' pocket. With United, when we sell a player, is the money we get for selling that player going to be invested right? We sold Ronaldo, we got Michael Owen and Obertan. When Man United sell a player for more than £30 million, I just can't trust where that money is going to be invested. And, if selling Martial meant Declan Rice, Sancho, Varane, sell them. But you just don't know with Manchester United. Do you think we have the pulling power in the transfer window like we used to? We're in the Champions League 2 seasons in a row. The Premier League is very, very dominant over the other leagues. And I think a lot of players want to come to the Premier League. Lille won Ligue 1. Suma had a chance to be in the Champions League with Lille in Ligue 1. And he chose to go to a 5th place Premier League team in Leicester because the Premier League has that pull. If you're coming top 4 in the Premier League, I think you have that pull. If you're in the top 4 and you're in the Premier League, I think we have that pull. Do we have the pull that City and Chelsea have? Because I think with City and Chelsea, that they're going to be a team that's always going to be successful because of the way they're run. Maybe not, but with Man United, we're in the top 4, we're in the Premier League. Because Real Madrid and Barcelona are crap this season, I think if Man United played Real Madrid over 2 legs, we'd be comfortable and win. If Man United have Real Madrid in the Champions League, I think we'd beat them. I also think Barcelona have been crap. La Liga's lost its pool, so I think that this summer we do have the pool for a lot of good players and all of that. Fabrizio Romano already said AC Milan keeper is resigning and his wages will be massive, and Heaton is literally only league grants replacement on cheap wages. Johnson like to be second keeper. Very good point, yeah. We all linked to Sam Johnston as maybe a second keeper, but I think Sam Johnston being in the England squad for the Euros, will Sam Johnston want to be the second keeper? Also, I think Sam Johnston's almost too good to be a second keeper, though. I'm trying to think what Sam Johnston's age. Sam Johnston is 28. Maybe he would look to be a second keeper, but I don't know, to be fair. Only 9 likes needed for 100 likes. If everybody could hit that like button, it'd be absolutely awesome. This time tomorrow, I will be live for my watch-along for Manchester United versus Villarreal, which, as I said earlier, super, super excited for that. So, of course, subscribe if you're really excited for my watch-along. One thing is Sancho played a lot of European football. Grealish only EPL. I prefer Sancho. Yeah, good point as well. Sancho has a little bit, almost, in a weird way, Sancho's a lot younger than Grealish, but Sancho almost has that experience. And I think Grealish is in his prime right now. Grealish is 25, I believe. Grealish is in his prime. Sancho ain't even in his prime. And to be fair, there's not much between Sancho and Grealish right now in terms of ability. And Grealish is in his prime. Sancho ain't in his prime. So I would take Sancho over Grealish as well. I think Sancho's definitely a better long-term option as well. What Man U players underperformed this season and what that expected more? I think what Man United players underperformed this season, probably Martial. I think Martial has definitely underperformed this season because I'm a big fan of him. Greenwood first half of the season, but second half of the season, Greenwood's been fantastic. Donny van de Beek, but it's not his fault because when he's played, he's been good, just like a minute. I'd say if there was 2, I think Martial's the player that's probably underperformed this season, to be fair. There's no one else that sticks out as underperformed. McTominay and Fred haven't been brilliant. Matic is not been as good as last season. Daniel James has been a bit hit and miss. So, yeah. Someone said they think the stream's delayed. Are you surprised not to see Wan-Bissaka in the England squad? I'm not surprised. But I think he should be in the England squad. You know, I think the thing about Wan-Bissaka is he gets very much overlooked. I think he's underrated. He's very consistent defensively. He's improved going forward. I would take him over Trippier. Walker's barely played for City this season. You know, Cancelo's kicked him out. I would have taken Wan-Bissaka, but I'm 100% not surprised that Southgate hasn't taken Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's been the best English right back this season. Wan-Bissaka's had a better season than Walker, a better season than Trent, and Reece James, you know, is hit and miss in the team. I would take Wan-Bissaka, but I'm not surprised Southgate didn't take him because Southgate has a Wan-Bissaka agenda. He just does. If Man United sign Jadon Sancho, then it's a perfect chance to destroy Man City with their homegrown talent. I'd love Sancho to, beat Man City, score against Man City. It'd be fantastic. But, yeah. Do you think Kane will come to United? Nope. Maybe next summer if Kane stays at Spurs for another year, possibly next summer because Cavani's leaving and I know we'll be in the market for a striker. Now I think if we have if we sign Sancho, a CDM and a centre back and we have a really, really good season next season and Kane's still at Spurs, there's a chance we'll sign Kane because Man City might go, oh, Haaland 60 million and Man City focused on Haaland, which means it's between us and Chelsea to sign Kane. Chelsea are looking at Lukaku, and I know Kane would choose Man United over Chelsea because if he goes to Chelsea, the Spurs fans ain't going to be happy. So, that's the only chance. But if I'm being realistic, I think Kane, probably Man City most likely. But I don't think Man City will sign Kane this summer because Man City like to do lots of 60, 70 million pound deals. They don't like to splash the cash on one Galactico. They like to do lots of, and I think they would rather wait a year and get Haaland for 60 million. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Kane this summer. But I do think he will stay at Spurs. Drop McTominay, start Pogba at DM, Rashford left wing, Greenwood right wing, no McFred, please. I agree. That's what I'd like to see in the final. This guy says, I'm a Liverpool fan. I love the content. I hope Villarreal win. But I say 2-1 United. I say 2-1 United. Thank you very much for the comment. One more thing I'm excited is that United are playing an away game and the record is good. Yeah, we are away, so I think that announces in our favour. Borussia Dortmund do officially announce a loss of 75 million euros this year, and Sancho will be 75 million pounds. So, it does weigh out. Actually, that's a good comment there. United Extra Time says Sancho is coming to play at right wing. We have enough on the left and clearly targeting a right wing and centre back looking likely a cheaper option at CDM. 2N copper miners will be perfect, much easier transfer. I mean, there's a lot of good cheap CDMs out there. If we can't afford Rice, Locatelli, Kessie, Sakaria, Basuma. There's a lot of good options out there at CDM they're affordable. I think it will be McFred, but I don't want to see McFred. But yeah. Let me have a look. McFred offer no creativity from deep and Rashford wasted on the right wing. I don't want to see McFred and Rashford on the right. If it is McFred, I want to see Greenwood on the right. Because if it's McFred and you have Greenwood on the right, you know what 60 minutes in, if we're not doing well, we can move Pogba to the middle, take off McTominay and put Rashford on the left, and that's a good impact sub. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you there. I wouldn't want to see McFred and Rashford on the right. I think Greenwood is better on the right, and I think Greenwood's in better form than Rashford. You know, I think Greenwood will be a better player than Rashford, actually. I'm a big fan of Rashford. I want to see Rashford on the left. I want to see Rashford at his best. But if it playing on the right wing, I would probably pick Greenwood. Now I'm just having a look at a few more comments. Wan-Bissaka's not in the England squad and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the squad. I mean, Trent, I think, will be England's best right back for years to come, but Trent is a defensive liability. You know, and I don't think Trent's as good for England as he is for Liverpool, because Liverpool have a lot more of the ball than England. And I actually think that Trent is better for Liverpool than for England. I don't think I've ever watched Trent in an English show where he's been brilliant. I feel like you have to take Trent because he is a world-class player. But I think Wan-Bissaka's defensive ability, Reece James and Trent aren't always the best at the back. Kyle Walker's a pace merchant and Trippier ain't the best at the back. Wan-Bissaka's your most reliable right back for England because you just know that he can deal with his man. So yeah, I do feel a bit bad for Wan-Bissaka. If it's a 26-man squad, you don't expect Wan-Bissaka to get in. But the fact that you named 36 players and Tomori, Kounde and Wan-Bissaka don't get a look in, I do feel a bit bad for them because I swap Mings for Kounde. I'd swap Ben White for Tomori. And I'd probably swap Trippier for Wan-Bissaka because Trippier's 30 and you've got to think about the future. If I was Southgate, that's what I'd do. But yeah, United have to go all out for the trophy. We have to win the trophy for sure. We have to win the trophy. If we don't win it, I'm not going to be happy. Bissaka doing a Dele on Southgate's daughter. Dele is a lad going with Pep's daughter. Haha. I mean, to be fair, there's a few players on Southgate's squad which I'm thinking, oh my God, what have they got on Southgate for him to pick them? But Ramsdale got another Darlow, which I thought was a very, very odd one. What happens if we lose? We are sleeping on Villarreal. I am worried. We are sleeping on Villarreal, and there's a chance we will lose. And I talked about this very much at the start of the video. There is always a chance that Man United will lose. Villarreal have Gerard Moreno, who's coming off the back of a pretty good season. Villarreal are very good at set pieces. They're organised. Spanish teams always play quite a good brand of football. And with players like Fred and McTominay in the midfield, it doesn't work well against Spanish football. And Unai Emery obviously has a very, very good record in the Europa League. So there's always a chance Villarreal win. It's just that, you know, I shouldn't be thinking about Villarreal winning. Now, Gerard Moreno has scored 29 goals for Villarreal this season. He scored 29 goals. He's got 11 assists. This guy's got 40 goal contributions this season. So we have to keep an eye on Gerard Moreno. We have to very much keep an eye on Gerard Moreno. 45 games, 40 goal contributions. In 3,400 minutes, he has 40 goal contributions. So he averages a goal contribution every other game. So if you're going off that stat alone with Gerard Moreno playing, we're likely to concede a goal, meaning we have to score 2. So I think we will concede a goal because I don't trust our back line and we have to score 2. But with Fred and McTominay sitting deep in their creativity, could Man United score 2? So we very much have to take that into account, that there's a chance Villarreal will win, but we should win having the squad that we have and having the squad that they have. 7th in La Liga, 2nd in Premier League. Man United should win the game, but you just never know. Man, you need to start enjoying playing at Old Trafford again. Yeah, we've been very good away from home, but our away record, I have to admit, isn't the best. We have 120 likes, so let's go for 150 likes. If I keep hitting that like button, of course, if you're new, subscribe to Alice Talks Football, because watch along tomorrow, Man United versus Villarreal and match reaction. Tomorrow is a massive, massive day. There's going to be pretty much daily Manchester United content and transfer news throughout the transfer window. So for daily Manchester United content and transfer news, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. As you can see there, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football for daily Manchester United news. As I say, down there. Would you swap Martial for Kane? Yes, I think most people would. And I'm a big Martial fan, but yes. Obviously, Messi decided to stay at Barcelona. Fair enough. He was never going to go to Man United. So it is what it is. And so I said, Villarreal had a great domestic season, also in Europe as well. Villarreal knocked out Arsenal. Arsenal will beat us twice. You've got to remember that. Villarreal 7th in La Liga. Man United 2nd in Prem. Premier League teams have pretty much walked past La Liga with the exception of Arsenal. but Arsenal aren't the top team. You know, we beat Sociedad, we beat Granada comfortably. Chelsea beat Atletico and Real Madrid comfortably. So realistically, we should beat Villarreal, but it's a one-off game. And the thing about finals is it's a one-off game. It's a luck game. Chelsea often beat City in a one-off game, but City are a better team than Chelsea. I think Chelsea could beat City in the final, but City are a better team. Porto beat Juventus in one-off games, in cup tournaments, in knockout tournaments. It's just one of them things. Man United lost 2-1 to Istanbul Başakşehir. We lost 2-1 to Istanbul Başakşehir. You know, that's the thing about United is you can never write off Villareal because Man United have lost 2-1 to Sheffield United. We've lost 2-1 to Istanbul Başakşehir. And there are two games when you looked at the lineups, you looked at the injuries. It wasn't even Istanbul's strongest team. It wasn't even Sheffield United's strongest team. But we lost 2-1 to both of them. You look at the United, you know, when we expect Man United to win and stroll through a game, we don't. And I think Man United are expected to win this game, but you just know we're Man United. When we expect Man United to win a game, do Man United win a game? And a lot of the time with Man United, when you expect us to win, we don't win. And I think the Villarreal game is going to be a really, really tough game. But at the end of the day, we're second in the Premier League. They are seventh in La Liga. The Premier League is levels ahead of La Liga this season. We are second, they're seventh. So you expect us to win. We should win. Unai Emery, more experience, has the track record. But if Man United don't win it, I think it's very, very embarrassing, if you want my honest opinion. We have to win. We have to win. We should win, but it's a cup game. It's a tournament. You never know what will happen. You never know what happened. Alice, what do you think if we get Rice and Sancho and Harry Kane this summer? Can we compete in the Premier and Champion? Yeah, I guess so. We probably need a centre back to add to that, but probably. Bruno Ramirez from Lyon at CDM. Oh my days, that would be a dream signing. Massive reason they beat PSG for the league. I don't know who that guy is, but I will definitely keep an eye on him. There's a lot of good CDMs out there. Rice is 90 million. We're not going to get Declan Rice. I think he's going to go to Chelsea. He's 90 million pounds. That's very, very expensive. But Locatelli abroad, affordable. You know, Sumac costs less than 21 million. We could get Sakara, we can get Kessie, we can get Locatelli, we can get Basuma, all for under 50 million. So, you know, I think we can get a CDM in the summer, but I don't think it will be Rice. John Jones says, if United don't win the Europa League this season, then Arsenal will have had a better season because Arsenal won the Community Shield this season. I think that's a troll comment. I hope that's a troll comment. But that just reminded me, you know how we came third last season, but Arsenal came 8th but won the FA Cup? Arsenal were saying they were better off that logic. You know what it'll be if we don't win a trophy this season? Arsenal fans will say they're better than us because of their Community Shield logic. You know what Arsenal are like, but that wouldn't surprise me if that's what Arsenal fans think. But if we don't win a trophy, I tell you what, tomorrow's match reaction will not be a happy one if we don't win, because I'm so excited for this game. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I want to win this game, but Man United better take that trophy home. You better take that trophy home, Man United, because I ain't going to be happy. I am not going to be happy if we don't take that trophy home. Subscribe down below if you're new, because I will be doing a watch along for the game tomorrow. So tune into my watch along tomorrow. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe, like, share, all of that daily Manchester United content and news, as you can see, on the channel throughout the transfer window. Where do you think Man United will finish next season? I think we will finish in the top 4 next season. If we don't have a good transfer window, it's 4th. If we have a good transfer window, it's 2nd. I don't know if we'll win, because I don't think we're going to have an amazing transfer window. I think we have a transfer window, we close the gap, but unless we have an amazing transfer window, I'm not going to predict first. I think it really depends on Man United's transfer window, but we're very much capable of getting top 4 next summer, but it depends on our transfer window. I think a lot of it depends on our transfer window. Thank you very much. It will be an interesting game because we have drawn our last 4 meetings with yellow submarines. Yeah, all 0-0s. That's the thing. It could go to penalties. It could go to extra time. You know, we'd be classic. Imagine if Man United win the Europa League on penalties. That would be classic United. Ollie in big games has a record for drawing as well. Good evening, Alice. Hope you're well. Do you think signing Heaton will ever benefit United at all? No, I think he's a very much Scott Carson, Lee Grant kind of signing. Third keeper there to see out his career, there to just be on such cheap wages, and if we use him only if you really, really need one. Good for everyone to see AC Milan back in the Champions League. 8 years there, also pot 4. Should make the UCL interesting. Yeah, of course. Really interesting to see AC Milan back in. Diallo was putting things on his Instagram. AC Milan are a massive team. I think they're a team that always deserve to be in the Champions League, and I think it's really nice to see. And Tomori's doing so good at AC Milan. I don't know why Southgate picked Ben White. Tomori has been better than Ben White. Tomori's been better than Mings, and I have to say, for me, Tomori, you know, if you're naming 33 players for an England squad, Tomori and Wan-Bissaka have to be in that 33. I do say, and Bamford might feel unlucky to miss out, and even Maddison, you know. It's an interesting one. Martial and Kane on the same wages, so it can't be possible. Martial and Kane have the same wages, so it can't be possible. Ooh, yeah. Spurs and wages. But yeah. Hopefully in 25 hours time we'll be jumping up and down. Hopefully. Again, live tomorrow for the watch along. We better win tomorrow. I tell you what, I've got my video plan for if we win. I've got my thumbnail plan. I've got my video plan for if we win. I'll be doing highlight clips and stuff. So we better win tomorrow because I have such a good match reaction plan to go live with. So we better win. Pau Torres is a poor man's Lindelof, says Samuel Ingram. I think he's better than Lindelof, and he's left-footed for something different. But yeah, I don't think he's much better than Lindelof. I don't think he's much of an improvement on Lindelof. And if you sign Pau Torres, he doesn't walk into the starting lineup. Here are the pot one teams: Man City, Bayern, Inter Milan, Lille, Sporting Lisbon, and Atletico Madrid. Thank you very much for that, Steve. So now we're in pot two. Hopefully, we just don't get battered. We get a really, really hard one. Bissaka is dating Southgate's daughter, then Alice, will you date me? Haha, sorry, no. Neves at 35 million, says Wolves. Look, I like Neves. I'm admirer of Neves, but he can't play as a holding CDM. He could only play in the pivot. He's an improvement on McTominay and Fred. But a year ago, I would have said sign Neves, but I've watched Neves a lot this season, and he hasn't really impressed me. That's an unpopular opinion, man. I wouldn't go for Neves. I'd go for Basuma over Neves because they'll be the same price. Is it just me or Lindelof and Pau Torres look exactly the same? I think they get compared a lot because they just look so similar. Yeah, they do. I think that's one of the... Everyone's like, oh, Pau Torres is a poor man Lindelof. But I think it's just because they look so similar that everyone compares Pau Torres and Lindelof just because of the way they look. Now, Pau Torres for me, I think is better than Lindelof, but they do look very similar. And I feel like that's what everyone's like, Pau Torres and Lindelof are the same. And it's like, just because they look the same, it doesn't quite make them the same, okay? Let me scroll down and read out a few more chats. United will break and dominate possession and get a good performance, then we should win the cup. Yeah, I think if we play Fred and Pogba in the pivot, and if Pogba's in the midfield, if Pogba's in the pivot, he gets more of the ball, and we can do more with the ball, we can play better football, I think we will win the game. We're defensively more suspect, but I think if Pogba's in the middle, he gets more of the ball, we can do more of the ball, we'll win the game. But if we have McFred, I do worry. I do worry with McFred. I do very much worry with McFred. Next season will be better with AC Milan back, and probably they can face Man United or Liverpool. It'll be very, very interesting. Kounde has been better than Godfrey, Mings, Cody, and Ben White. Godfrey's had a really good season, but I play Kounde over Mings for England. I play Kounde over Mings. I'd bring in Tomori over Ben White. I'd bring in Wan-Bissaka over Trippier. And I do feel a bit bad for Bamford, and I do feel bad for Maddison, and Harvey Barnes is always a shout. And I do think, you know, you name 33 players for England Southgate, and you don't put Tomori on there, you don't put Kounde on there, and you don't put Wan-Bissaka on there. If you're naming 26, fine. But you name 33. And yeah, I think Wan-Bissaka is a very, very underrated player. And all of that. UEFA has officially opened disciplinary proceedings against Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus because of the Super League. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Bruno Gomes is only 23 in CDM for Brazil. Alice Price was 40 million. Well, I don't know much about this player, but I'm definitely going to do some research on him, especially if we get linked to him. Joel Glazer's joined the chat. Joel Glazer, how are you feeling about the fan forum? He says Glazer's in. All right, Glazer's in if you sign us. Harry Kane, Jules Kounde, Declan Rice, and Jadon Sancho this summer. Glazer's in if we win the treble by 2025. If we win the treble by 2025 and you invest loads of money, then Glazer's in. But ideally, I'd like Joel Glazer to go, you know what? We're going to sell Man United on a free to a really rich Arab oil person that's just going to make Man United better than City again and make the Premier League a pharmacy. Well, you know what I mean. That'll be interesting. I would definitely love Jules Kounde from Sevilla as our centre-back partner for Rafael Varane. I mean, we're not going to get two centre-backs. It's about partner for Maguire, and I do think Jules Kounde could be the perfect partner for Maguire. And when I think about centre-backs that Man United should sign, I think about what centre-back is going to be our Ruben Diaz. What centre-back is going to be our Virgil van Dijk? What centre-back is going to completely transform that defence? And I think, you know, City brought Ruben Diaz young, and he was a risk. But I think if we buy Jules Kounde young, He's a risk, but I think he could be that centre-back. I'm going for City winning the CL and us celebrating Europa. I think Manchester clubs are the favourites in both tournaments. But tournaments, it's not always the favourites that win. It's not always the favourites that win in tournaments. It's always one of those. So this guy says, I fear Chelsea will snatch Sancho from our nose. Sancho will choose United over Chelsea. It's pretty clear Sancho wants United. It just depends on will our owners pay 75 mil for Sancho or not. Chelsea are more efficient at transfers. I think Chelsea will snatch Rice from us. I think Chelsea will snatch Varane from us. But I don't know if they'll snatch Sancho because I know that Sancho wants United and he's agreed to join United. But yeah, thanks everyone for your chats and tuning in. Only 62 likes, nearly 100 likes. We've got over 80 people watching. So if everybody's watching, can hit that like button. It will be very much appreciated. GBA says, I think Tuanzebe should start because Maguire is injured. He's been playing for the past 3 or 4 games. He's looked really well. He deserves it, in my opinion. Exactly. And he's been playing as a left-sided centre-back. And Harry Maguire plays as a left-sided centre-back. So I agree Tuanzebe deserves it. And we chucked Tuanzebe in the deep end up against Mbappe and Neymar in a massive game. And he killed it. He played absolutely brilliant. So I agree. I chuck Axel Tuanzebe in. I don't want the pivot no more, lol. Even if we get a world-class CDM, we still play the pivot. 1 CDM, 2 8s. I agree. My ideal Man United midfield would be Ndidi, Pogba, Bruno. But I know it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, Alice, how long have you been supporting Man United? Since I was like 3 or 4, to be fair. As long as I can remember. And all of that. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's overrated, not great on the ball to win trophies and add goals. Wan-Bissaka's good. Well, look, people don't like Wan-Bissaka's positioning, questionable, but he's got better going forward. Wan-Bissaka's one of them players like Luke Shaw, where some people like to write him off, some people don't. But like Luke Shaw, I never written him off. I always thought I was a player on Luke Shaw, and I think that, we know defensively what Wan-Bissaka can do. I think he needs a defensive coach to stop him tucking in. Maybe that's tactical, but I think Wan-Bissaka could be a Luke Shaw in a few years' time, where everyone just goes, "Wow, he's unbelievable." I think he does need to improve going forward, but I'm a massive Wan-Bissaka fan. But Wan-Bissaka is one that divides opinion when you talk about him going for England, like Martial divides opinion within the Manchester United thing. Maguire with Kounde in a proper CDM when we go to another level. I agree. I mean, I love Sancho, but it's Kounde and Rice before Sancho for me. Sancho is a Chelsea fan, but he wants United because I think with Chelsea, they need a striker more than a right winger, and we need a right winger more than a striker. And all of that. But I'm just trying to read a few more live chats before I end the live stream. Alexander Silva says, if Manchester United lose tomorrow against Villareal, does coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer leave the team, or is he still in charge of Man United manager? Look, I'd be very, very frustrated if we lose, and there'll be a lot of pressure on Ole and all of that. But I think, second place finish, progressive, first manager since Sir Alex to get us top 4 twice in a row. You can't sack him. You can't sack him if we lose. So, but yeah. And Jose Mourinho should do a Manchester United favour by singing Eric Bailly, David De Gea, Juan Mata, and signing Nemanja Matic. I mean, that would be brilliant. Serie A do like our Deadwood. Hoping our fullbacks have a solid game, need big performances from Wan-Bissaka and Shaw. Our fullbacks are very, very reliable this season, and hopefully they have a big, big game. I'm a big fan. Man United have a brilliant fullback pairing, in my opinion. They're very, very reliable. But yeah, bring Rice, Sancho, Kane, Kounde, and Marquinhos. And that'd be interesting. That would be very interesting, to be fair, because Marquinhos could play as a centre-back and a CDM and it adds depth. I'd also add Sancho to that. Realistically, it's not going to happen, but I do like your thinking. This guy says, against Villarreal, defence is very important, so we must use Bayern, Tuanzebe in addition to Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. Bayern, Tuanzebe won't play together because Lindelof's been rested for the game, but I 100% get your point. And Wan-Bissaka defensively is sound. He's getting better going forward. His positional marking can improve, but 1v1 tackling, he's a great, and it's a strength. Yeah, I agree. I think Wan-Bissaka is a great talent, and all of that. I think I'm a big fan of Wan-Bissaka, and I think the thing about Wan-Bissaka is he doesn't have an out-and-out right winger on his flank. He plays with a mix of people because we don't really have the right winger. I think if Wan-Bissaka could form a relationship and a bond with Jadon Sancho, who's a very good player, who would be very good at link-up play, I think that would improve Wan-Bissaka's game as well. And just because Sancho's a Chelsea fan doesn't mean they all want to join them. Jamie Carragher was an Everton fan who joined Liverpool. Exactly. And it's been clear that Sancho wants to live in Manchester because his mates are in Manchester, as this guy's just commented below. And Sancho would rather go to Man United than Chelsea. That's sort of the news coming today, which I think is interesting because I think if we were going to miss out on Sancho, it's because he goes to Chelsea. But the fact that he would rather go to Manchester United, I think is very much more promising for us. But thank you to everyone that's tuned into the live stream. I am going to end the live stream just here. But today's live stream, we're talking a lot about the Villarreal game. It was sort of a match preview to the Villarreal game. But we also did talk a lot about Sancho. We signed Tom Heaton. We talked about Rice, the CDM, the centre-back situation and all of that. I will be live tomorrow night for my Manchester United versus Villarreal watch-along. So subscribe, stay tuned for Man United versus Villarreal watch-along. It's going to be a brilliant live tomorrow night. Subscribe down below to Alice Talks. So I'm going to be doing daily Manchester United content. We'll be doing 4 or 5 streams a week. I'll probably be doing about 5 streams a week throughout the transfer window, updating you daily on all the latest Manchester United news. So if you want to be up to date with all the latest Manchester United news throughout the transfer window, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I was just talking about the transfer news in terms of, Pau Torres maybe coming if he has a good game against us. In Man United, possibly looking at a CDM because they don't want to play 2 players in a pivot. James Cooper, reliable journalist, gets information from Manchester United, did say that Man United would like to have Pogba in a 3-year role and get a CDM. So I was talking about the news about us looking potentially at a CDM. We were talking about the 5 centre-backs on Man United shortlist: Pau Torres, Rafael Varane, Jules Kounde, Botman, Romero. Who do United go for? We're talking about the Sancho news. Sancho apparently would choose United over Chelsea, which is very, very good. And more. And obviously, of course, Villareal, Man United preview. Can Emre give us a bad evening, or can Emre give us a good evening? That would be brilliant to see. But as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe down below. I'll be live tomorrow night for my live watch along and match reactions, so make sure you don't miss that. So subscribe, like, share. Live tomorrow night, daily Manchester United streams on the channel pretty much. See you next time. Thank you, everybody.